Everyone knows Bowser has got some amazing boss fights up his sleeve. He never fails to give you a great experience that you will never forget. Every Bowser boss fight truly has a significant impact on every gamer who plays Mario. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Look, Bowser's got some awesome boss fights. In this video, we're going to be talking about which ones are the best ones and which ones are the worst ones. In other words, we're ranking every single one of them. This will only be including boss fights from the main series titles, meaning the 2D Mario games and the 3D Mario games. I have made this video once before, back when my channel was first new, so that means the video is most likely cringy, because I'll never watch it, ever. But anyways, the reason I'm remaking it is because I forgot to include the boss fights from Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario World, which was not one of my more prouder moments as a Mario fan. So anyways, today I'll be redeeming myself and include those boss fights on this list. And yeah, it'll be fun. Alright, let's get into the video. The original New Super Mario Bros. Was very invested in recreating what was so great about the original 2D Mario games. However, they went a bit far when it came to recreating the feel of the Bowser boss fights. You fight Bowser twice over the course of this game. The first time, you literally have a platform and jump over him and hit the switch and he dies. That's it. That's even easier than it was back in the original Super Mario Bros. The second time you fight Bowser, he's arguably just as easy. All you gotta do is run under him, hit the switch. Again, that's how it worked in the original Super Mario Bros. But that game was made in 1985. This game was made in like 2005 or something, or 2006, I forget. Whenever this game was made, a boss fight like this was very underwhelming and very boring. So yeah, this earns the worst Bowser boss fight of all time on the list. Yeah, I'm actually putting the original first ever Bowser boss fight ahead of the one of New Super Mario Bros. The reason I actually like this one more is because it's just slightly more challenging. Bowser is a bit more of a threat in this game considering he breathes fire more often, jumps slightly differently, and all in all is just a bit more of a threat to you in this game. Plus, you don't have a platform to just jump right over his head. Now, yes, there are a few different variations of this boss fight, but each one is basically the same, so I'm counting them all as one. This boss fight for the first ever Bowser boss fight wasn't that bad. It was alright. It doesn't really hold up today, but for its time, it was pretty good. Super Mario Bros. 3's Bowser boss fight was actually really creative, especially for its time. Bowser will basically just try to crush you. But the catch is that the floor is made out of bricks. This means Bowser will slowly start to open up a hole in the ground at which point he will plummet to his death. Yeah, it sounds kinda basic, but it's kinda fun as well. This boss fight can be easily cheesed because if you're crouching, Bowser can't hurt you, well, only if you're big Mario. But it's still really fun, and when you play it how it's meant to be played, it can be quite a challenge sometimes. You know, Bowser's not threatening enough. We need to give him something. How about a pimp car? Yes, in 3D World, when Bowser fights you, he decides to ride in the sweet pimp car. And I love that. And his weapon of choice? Soccer balls that are also bombs. That you kick back at him. And they hurt him. And eventually his car blows up. Which is sad, because I like his car. Yeah, that's the whole boss fight right there. It's alright. It's never meant to be taken too seriously, but it's pretty good and it gets the job done. Plus, the pimp car! Yeah, this boss fight was very underwhelming. Mario Sunshine's Bowser boss fight is literally just you running back and forth, ground pounding the ground, and that's about it. You really have no obstacles to worry about here. Sometimes bullet bills will be shot at you, but they never get in your way. I've seen my brother beat this boss fight in less than 2 minutes, and even I, who's not even a pro at Mario Sunshine, can do it in like 3. This boss fight was very underwhelming and doesn't take long to complete at all. It's very boring and honestly could have been a lot better. But it is alright, and it does beat out some other boss fights on this list. The third New Super Mario Bros. Game where Bowser just grows big, and you fight him. This boss fight is alright. but it's just the same thing again and again. Bowser growing big and you having to fight him. I will admit, this Bowser boss fight, for as lazy as it is, at least has you getting a bit more up close and personal with Bowser as opposed to New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. 2, where you're more trying to run away from him. This boss fight revolves around Bowser breathing a lot of fire, you stepping on Bowser Jr.'s head, stealing his clown car, and then slamming it into his head. Then he chases you around in a shell for a bit, but let's be real, you're never going to get hurt by that. And yeah, it's kind of a boring boss fight, but it's alright, and technically I guess it's better than others on this list. Again, it's just a bit boring and not really all that original. Super Mario World's boss fight isn't perfect, but it offers a very nice challenge. The goal of this boss fight is to take the Mecha Koopas Bowser throws at you, throw them up in the air, and hope they land on his head. Do this about 6 times and you should be good. Bowser will use a variety of attacks, such as fire, cannonballs, and the clown car itself to stop you. Peach will even appear at certain parts during the boss fight to give you a mushroom. This does kind of make things easier than it needs to be, but it doesn't matter. This boss fight's really good and offers a great end to Super Mario World. Mario 64's Bowser boss fight was all about getting up close and personal. You and Bowser are left on a floating rock that is literally in the middle of nowhere, and it's up to you to find a way to defeat Bowser. Spoiler alert, you're supposed to use the spikes at the edge of the rock, I guess. Basically what you gotta do is you gotta grab Bowser by the tail, and because Mario is totally strong enough to throw Bowser like 30 million feet in the air, you will be able to throw him onto these spikes that surround the battlefield, causing Bowser to explode. You do this about maybe 3 times, I think, and you should be good. Bowser will obviously use a variety of attacks to try and stop you in your tracks, such as running, fire, and that's kind of all the ones I can remember. This boss fight's pretty good and honestly holds up to this day. As basic as this boss fight is when you get down to it, it's really enjoyable. New Super Mario Bros. 2's Bowser boss fight was really good. Basically what's happening is the camera is auto-scrolling upward and platforms are rising and you gotta jump on them. They do sink when you jump on them, so you gotta be constantly moving. There's also lava at the bottom rising up with you that you gotta avoid, obviously. Bowser is in the background constantly swiping at you, trying to destroy your platforms to get in your way. While that all does sound kinda simple, this boss fight is really good and feels really intense at times. It's a lot of fun and it's kinda underrated. The best Bowser boss fight in the 2D Mario games without a doubt is the Bowser boss fight from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. What happens in this boss fight is Bowser grows really big. This time it's not considered lazy though because it's the first time it happens. He then breathes fire at you, which breaks walls, no literally breaks the walls of the castle to reveal a much larger level. This level does revolve around Bowser breathing fire at you and you gotta destroy the walls to progress. It then gets to this one lava section where Bowser is really chasing you down and you gotta get away from him as fast as possible. At the end, there's this giant switch that will send Bowser to his doom. It's a really fun and epic boss fight, and it's no secret why fans love it to date. As good of a game Odyssey was, it didn't have the best Bowser boss fight. Now, this is not including the part afterwards where you turn into Bowser and progress through that one really awesome level, because if that was including this, this would probably be at number 1 on the list. This is only including the actual part where you fight Bowser. And this boss fight's kind of underwhelming, to be honest. Basically, Bowser will just throw some kind of lame attacks at you that aren't really that difficult to avoid, and you'll eventually steal his hat and punch him to death. I mean, it's okay and it gets the job done, but it's not really all that challenging, and all in all, we've seen much better in the Mario series. As bad of a rap Galaxy 2's Bowser boss fight gets, it's really not that bad. The actual boss fight itself, where you are kind of fighting Bowser, and he's really big, and he's punching you, throwing meteors at you and all that, it's pretty good. It makes for a pretty fun experience, and all in all is not that bad. Now yes, it is kind of easy, and it's a little boring at times, but it's still really good. Now we don't talk about the part afterwards where you're just ground pounding meteors at him. That's lazy to the extreme. But the actual boss fight itself, now that's pretty fun. Many people consider the Bowser boss fight in Mario Galaxy to be the best boss fight ever made. Honestly, I don't really completely agree. The Bowser boss fight in Galaxy is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but to me there are just better ones than this. This boss fight starts off where you and Bowser are on a planet and he's turning into a boulder and trying to crush you. What you have to do is you have to spin and hopefully time it so that you hit him in the head. He will then start spinning around the planet and you have to hit him again to do damage. Do this twice and you'll move on to the next planet. On the next planet, you have to use all those green bouncy things or whatever that move when you spin them. I don't know what they're actually called. To basically hurt Bowser, get him to do the spinny thing. I'm bad at explaining this one if you can't tell. And then you hit him again and he gets hurt. And then you go to the center of the sun or the universe or whatever and fight him again. But this time, you're supposed to get him to dive into lava. And then you hit him a few times. Look, I know this doesn't sound super interesting and I'm doing a terrible job at explaining it, but it is truly one of the best Bowser boss fights of all time. It's really up close and personal, and that's part of what's so great about it. Instead of for once Mario just running away from Bowser or Mario hitting a switch to defeat him, you're actually doing the deed yourself and getting up close and personal with Bowser and hitting him until he dies. That got dark fast. But anyways, this is a really good boss fight. Yes, I know we already talked about the Bowser boss fight in 3D World, but that was when he's in the pimp car. Meowser is an entirely different boss fight altogether. Basically, Bowser uses the cat bell to turn into, as I already said, Meowser. This is a genius idea, and I'm surprised Bowser doesn't use the power-ups in any other Mario games. Whatever. It's fine. I hope we see that in the future, though. Basically, you're just climbing up a giant tower as Meowser's trying to stop you in your tracks. Eventually, you get to the tippy top of the tower. Meowser's standing on a giant POW block. Why? It doesn't matter. You just hit it 4 times and Meowser's toast. About halfway through the boss fight, Meowser multiplies into several different copies of himself, and it makes for a really challenging experience. Well, challenging might not be the right word. I'd go with fun. This boss fight can be easy at times, but it's still really good. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun, and that's all that really matters. Unpopular opinion. The 3D Land Final Bowser Battle is better than the 3D World Final Bowser Battle. I personally think Mario 3D Land's final Bowser boss fight is awesome. Even better than Meowser, in my opinion. Basically, Bowser just throws more at you. He throws spike balls at you, breathes fire at you, throws barrels at you. Honestly, Bowser's just a bit more of a threat in 3D Land, in my opinion, and I just think that makes the boss fight a lot more interesting. Plus, the obstacles, in my opinion, are a bit harder to avoid, which makes for a much more fun and challenging experience. This is truly one of the absolute best boss fights in Mario history. And the best Bowser boss fight of all time goes to Fury Bowser. I do like the boss fights where you get up close and personal with Bowser, and this boss fight is all about that. You grow into Giga Cat Mario, or Goku Mario, doesn't matter what you say, and you basically fight Fury Bowser, one-on-one, with no help from anything, except the Giga Cat Bell, but that barely counts. Now, this boss fight has a lot of really cool elements to it. First of all, you're supersized, and the entire level, or world, or whatever you want to call it, is smaller than you now, which is really interesting. And there are a lot of attacks that Fury Bowser will throw at you, like fire, or punches, or spikes, or his turtle shell, bombs, all that stuff. It has been a while since I played this boss fight, but I really want to go back to it because it's so much fun. It's just a lot of fun having to defeat Fury Bowser without the help of, I don't know, an axe at the end of a bridge, or a power-up, or a switch, or something. It finally feels like Mario is finally facing Bowser in his darkest form without help from anyone or anything. And that's what I love most about this boss fight. And that is every Bowser boss fight ranked. I wasn't kidding when I said he has a lot of good boss fights up his sleeve. Bowser truly is one of the best video game villains of all time. Arguably even the best. But I'm sure there are a lot out there. Anyways, Bowser's really cool. I like remaking this video. It was a lot of fun to make. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Until then, keep being awesome Nintendo fans. Peace out.